Hello everyone and welcome back to Packs and Recreation, and we're back at it with Bundlemania. And Bundlemania means going back to the past to show you the games that suck. So to show you how the bundles went across the time and history of Magic the Gathering. So last time, well, actually, I don't know, because maybe we did a recent bundle when I recorded because sometimes I get surprise bundles. So this time we're going over the Dungeons and Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms bundle. So before we went over the gift bundle. So if you want to see that and the difference between the two, check that link. But today we're going over the normal one, the one that the normal people like me and likely you could afford back in the day, because the gift bundles were, I mean, it wasn't as crazy as it is right now, but certainly was cray. So let's get right into it and to see what was it that it was included with this sexy cardboard box that is a bundle, right? So one thing that we discussed last time with the gift bundle is that, and I die by that statement, is that Dungeons and Dragons, to me, in Magic the Gathering, is one of the things that fits better. It's like a match made in heaven to a degree. It's just like fantasy and fantasy. And both are owned by wizards at this point, right? So they just work. What do we have in here? Everything just fell off, but we have an old art traditional foil treasure chest card, 20 traditional foil and 20 regular basic lands, 10 15 card Adventures in the Forgotten Realm draft boosters. Remember that in this era, we had the division between set and draft, and just because they always go with numbers for bundles, and that's the same reason why they do this trick thing when they go like 10 in letters, but then 15 in numbers, so that your brain goes for the 15. They added draft boosters. Then people were like, really, bro? And they changed to set booster, but it was like 8 set boosters, something like that. 3 oversized dungeon cards, which has an asterisk that says Davek language dungeon cards not available outside of Faerun. So there is that. The card box and the die, and then plus 2 reference cards. So one of the cleanest back of boxes that we had so far. This is one of those that you have the. Oh, this one doesn't have like a full snot thing, like a full booger. It's just like a bunch of little boogers. So not as fun, but the inside is pretty cool. It's this match made in heaven of Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. It looks as archaic and old school as it looks cool. I like it. I never seen this art. This is pretty cool. Nice. Not bad. Not bad at all. And I love that the swords are all different and all that, besides just having a rock. And, black doesn't have a sword because, yeah. So, not bad. Not a bad looking box at all. So these are the dungeon cards. I'm not going to open them because we already opened them for the collector booster box, for the collector bundle or the gift bundle. And these are the dungeons, right? So Dungeon of the Mad Mage, Lost Mine of Phandelver, and Tomb of Annihilation. So very nice to have them oversized and you can actually read what's happening. Now you have an insert. Sadly, contrary to the insert of the gift bundle, this one is pure paper. This is not like a cardboard or anything, so I guess you get what you pay for. You have an ad on one side, a very clear ad, which is not very cool, but the back looks pretty cool. And I guess you could actually frame this. It looks pretty cool, not gonna lie. It's still an ad because it has the name of the set, but it's a very nice art for the ad. You have magic cards and a calculator, so I guess this is basically any website that sells Magic the Gathering cards. MTG Goldfish? Who knows? So that really seems like a reference to MTG Goldfish now that I think about it. That's weird. So there were some rumors that they do get preference and they do get special treatment and they get the special cards for ad's sake and whatnot. But who knows? This old cardboard box that we don't get anymore, that at this point in time, you could see that this thing was destined to be destroyed at some point, because the only reason why this was here at the beginning was because you had the book with the reference cards and all that, you can see all the collection of the cards and the set and whatnot. But as you can see, it's not included. The only thing that has this size is the insert, but the insert can be smaller. It's just a piece of paper. So this thing is just here as a transition piece. They remove the book, give it a couple of sets, then they will remove the box, as you saw, because we're going back to the past. So if you saw the previous videos, which were in the future, you know that this thing appeared out of nowhere. And now the box. The box, as we are seeing, not gonna lie, is also one of the prettiest boxes for a bundle. I guess that the two boxes for these are actually pretty nice. This one is just clean, nice. I'm not going too crazy over this render because it looks like, you know, like 90s, 80s 3D, you know, like 3DF voodoo graphics card type of thing. But I guess that's the appeal they're going for, I guess. So I don't know, but I like the colors, basically like multicolor scales for a dragon. So that makes sense. The box is just very nice. However, I find it funny that even within the same set, they don't have a consistency. Sometimes they have the name of the set in here, which is the same for the gift bundle box. But then this one doesn't have the set logo in here. It has it here and here. This thing has it on the sides, and here it says Magic. So I don't know. I would love that Wizards just across time decides like either the set name is here or the set logo is here, so that we can put them all in a shelf and just know what everything is without having to like remember. But I digress. So the box, the usual, as you may imagine. Now the contents. Well, the good old contents. You have your 10 draft boosters, which we're gonna crack. I don't like the expression cracking packs, but it is what it is. The 2 reference cards, you can never leave your home without them, because it is what it is. Otherwise, you will forget how to play Magic. And a big pack with the treasure chest promo card and the lands, both in foil and non-foil. Again, I'm not, and let's do me a solid, right? I'm not going to open this because the foils are just going to curl, and maybe I'm just going to send this to one of you or something. I don't know. Sealed, I guess, is prettier and easier to send. Already it's kind of bent, so it's not like we're going to pretend that the thing is not going to curl because of oxygen, but we're just going to see the cards that we will get. So you have the treasure chest promo, which is, it is what it is. And then these are the lands, and both in normal and foil treatment, right? So as I said last time with the gift bundle, these are the cool lands that have flavor text. And I always like them because, well, I mean, the text is in italic. You can tell, or italic, you can tell that this thing is flavor text. But some people hate them with a passion because you see them across the table and you think they have an effect, which, fair, I guess, right? Wait until that people play against someone with the text lands. Those things are a kick in the nuts. But so you get your lands, same as the gift bundle. So it is what it is. And besides our magic cup that I miss every day that passes, another thing that we lost with time, we get the die. Now, one thing that I commented on the previous video, and some of you were like, it's like, this die is red. The box is not red. So this die is not bad at all. Like it's red, it's like marbled, as you can see. Right, the text for the numbers of the die, maybe you can't tell, but this thing is like silver-ish, right? Maybe you can see with the reflexes, it's silver-ish. So cool looking. Now, fun fact: this is the box for the gift bundle, and this is the die from the gift bundle. See a problem? So I don't know why Wizards did this. Because this box is red and silver, and this box is like purple, blue, and silver. So because of this, so ideally, this should be how the die are distributed with the boxes. But however, they are inverted. And yes, you can be like, well, they do it as a reference to the other product, or they do it so that your box is not monotone, like everything is the same color. What is this? A Pokemon Elite Trainer box? Which don't joke about those. Those actually have a lot of value. You get sleeves, you get a bunch of shit. But I I don't know why they did this. My theory, as I shared in another video, is that, to be honest, this die does look a lot cooler than the red one. So I guess because it's like multicolor and whatnot. So I guess someone at Wizards was like, nah, this feels like too much value here. So let's just swap them. And this is how I met your mother, kids. So, you know, weird, but it is what it is. So with that little war of the die discussion to the side, let's open boosters from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. Since these are draft boosters, what I'm going to do is likely what I do with all draft boosters is I open them as you see here, and then because, you know, we do it for the channel, we do it for the entertainment, we do it for the kids. Will someone think about the kids? But then I just like shuffle them, divide them in groups of 15, and try to do like a mini Friday night with the boys, right? Because otherwise it's a waste of draft magic, of sealed magic. So it is what it is. A Mimic, nice. It's one of those cards that is like, it's not that good, but it's just emblematic. So not bad. Find Death, Hoarding Ogre. One thing that I was saying, and Evolving Wilds, nice. One thing that I got some feedback about is that, yeah, well, you don't have that many legendary creatures, but here you have one, for example. So Targnar, Demon Fang Null. One thing that I want to know, if you are a D&D player, like someone that really plays a lot of D&D like every week or something, do you recognize these cards? Do you recognize the cards that are legendary creatures and have like proper names? Are those, because I'm not a D&D person, right? Like I played it, as I said last time, I played it casually, and I started to like it because of a friend of mine that is a very good Dungeon Master, but I play it casually, so I don't know all the names and all that. So, you know, I play Baldur's Gate 2 and 3, right? So I know those characters, but of course, those are characters in the great scheme of things. And I know some of them in recent sets have like appearances in Secret Lairs mostly, but you as a D&D player, before, you know, Baldur's Gate 3 and all the craze that happened, do you see some of these cards that are legendary creatures and do you recognize them? I'm legit curious because maybe you will tell me like, oh no, it's just legendary because they're like characters with a name. It's just to exemplify how it will look if you play. But I don't know. I really don't know. For example, this one, Cradle of Baldur's Gate, I guess. Well, actually, do I recognize this person? I don't know. Again, I am not the best well-versed person in Dungeons and Dragons, so my apologies for that. My apologies to the Jedi Council. I am not worthy of the rank of Jedi Master. So it is what it is. Precipitous Drop, Minimus Containment, Arcane Investigator. So see, this is the flavor. I guess this is why this thing just fits in perfectly with Magic, because, well, you can put a lot of these cards into other things and other sets. I am curious about 2026 for Magic, because 2025 looks like a crazy year, where the most Magic-like sets are Tarkir, Dragonstorm, and ironically, the Final Fantasy set kind of looks a little bit, because it feels a little bit like fantasy, like medieval fantasy, depending on the Final Fantasy that you're looking at. So it kind of, oh nice, an emblem. It kind of fits, right, with Magic. But then you have like Either Drift, which is like Mad Max racing things. You did get like Innistrad Remastered, but come on, right? Like that doesn't count. But then you have Age of Eternities and Spider-Man and Avatar. So yeah, I guess not a lot of classic Final Fantasy, but the set that was moved because of Avatar, which is Lorwyn, that should be very classic Magic, like very, very classic Magic. You know, like, because basically it's medieval fantasy. So I'm looking forward to it, unless they do a twist, because it's called Return to Lorwyn, or that's how we call it. But is it going to be Return to Lorwyn, or they're going to do like a Kamigawa Neon Dynasty on us, and it's going to be like, it's Lorwyn, but now everyone is a... I don't know. But now everyone is a mute motor. What's the name of the series? It's like the motor mice from Mars, right? Biker mice from Mars. Like maybe Lorwyn now is full of biker mice from Mars, or by street sharks or something like that, right? Like who knows at this point? And what will be the tie-in to that? Normally the January sets, I feel they have it hard because in December everyone buys a lot of things. January they do like a remaster. I don't know if they already said what their remaster is going to be for January, but I guess around February, March, we're going to get the next set, and that's going to be Lorwyn. And I guess it's going to have some tie-in to something or not. I don't know. Let's see. Some universes beyond or within sets like this one, because technically D&D counts as a Magic the Gathering plane. Some of them age better than others, to be fair. Like you see this one and it doesn't feel like a cash grab. It doesn't feel like oh, this was obviously because of Stranger Things, which maybe it was, but same as Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, obviously at some point was at least inspired because of all the craziness around Cyberpunk 2077. That's my theory. You fight me. Then yes, it was released later, but you have to understand that sets technically are designed 3 years earlier. So when they started with the craze, they were like, you know what, we should totally do this. Oh, nice, long rest. So this one may have been done in that regard, and then they understood that it just works, and they just did 2 other D&D sets or D&D adjacent sets, but it feels like it belongs here. Like one thing that I do feel sometimes from non-Magic sets. And sometimes, to be fair, from Magic sets, I also get the same feeling. But something that I always feel about like non-Magic sets or universes beyond or within is that they feel like a thing that is to the side. You know what I mean? Like they don't feel like you look at them and your mind goes to that moment in time. For example, you look at the Lord of the Rings set, right? The Lord of the Rings set is a Magic the Gathering set that actually fits pretty well with Magic because, well, it's medieval fantasy. So it fits nicely. And for a lot of people, that is a Trojan horse because that's a big-ass franchise. And Universes Beyond went away from just a secret lair, just commander decks, and it became a full-fledged thing, one of the best-selling sets ever, and we had the 1-of-1 ring and all that, right? So all the craziness. So for a lot of people, that's the set that killed the Mockingbird, right? But for example, I don't know if this is only me, so let me know if it's a me thing, but I look at the Lord of the Rings set, which is an objectively good set, and thematically is not that much away from Magic. And it feels dated in a weird way. You know what I mean? It feels like I look at my cards from that set and I feel like, oh yeah, it's that. Oh, nice. It's that set from that moment in time. You know what I mean? It feels like a capsule. It doesn't feel like part of Magic, and it's not because, well, it's not part of the story of Magic. Ironically, I do get that feeling also from sets like Murders at Karlov Manor or Either Drift, which are, and Thunder Junction, which are the hat sets, you know, the novelty sets, which is like, oh, it's a generic thing, but everyone is a cowboy and everyone is a detective. That's the kind of thing that dates the set a lot. Ironically, Dungeons and Dragons: Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, to me at least, feels like just another Magic set, even though it doesn't fit the narrative. It was kind of a set on the side. It has cards as weird as these two, right? And yet I look at it and I feel like, yep, it's a Magic the Gathering card. You know what I mean? Like it just fits. It doesn't feel like a dated pocket in time. I know it's weird. Maybe it's just a me thing. Let me know. I don't know. Oh, nice. Nadar, Selfless Paladin, a Dragon Knight. An Angel. We only got one ad card so far, so that's not a bad record. overall, this type of set is what I miss more about it. Like, yes, I guess that if I played Dungeons and Dragons, or maybe this is a me thing, again, let me know. For example, I never watched The Walking Dead, and I never, there's a lot of things like Warhammer. I'm not a big Warhammer guy. I know some things because of the video games, but I never like Warhammer 40k and all that. I play like Total War Warhammer and Space Marine and all that shit, but not like a super into the lore. But when I play with the Commander decks, they felt like a little gimmicky. Like there were like a lot of references that I couldn't get, which I got that feeling with the Doctor Who decks, and that got me into Doctor Who. Oh, nice. The Tarask for 6 and 3 green is a 10/10 dinosaur. The Tarask has haste and ward 10 as long as it was cast. Whenever the Tarask attacks, it fights target creature defending player controls. When it rises, nations fall. Oh, nice. Crazy. And it's a dinosaur, so right there for dinosaur decks. Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like for sets like these, it feels like things kind of match. For other type of sets that are more gimmicky or more, I don't know. Doctor Who got me estranged to the references they were making, and that got me interested into Doctor Who, which I guess is part of the thing. But with D&D, I don't feel outcasts from the game. Like I see the cards, I read the flavor text, and I go like, oh, that's cool. I don't feel like, man, I need to play D&D to understand it, right? Which I do feel with Warhammer, and I do feel with a lot of these sets that it's like, well, I guess I need to understand what's up. With D&D, I don't, but maybe it's just me, or maybe it's just because it blends so good that it's like, whatever. But this is the bundle. Now, is it worth it to buy? Well, at this point in time, as usual, if you can find it for more or less the MSRP back in the day, sure, why not? But at this point, it's really about the nostalgia, whether you like the set, and most importantly, the extras of the bundle. So these are some of the bundles that come with most stuff, because as you know, bundles in the future will come with less stuff. And, you get an insert, which is pretty cool, and I guess it's a frameable insert. That's very good. On the other side, it's just whatever, but on this side is pretty cool. You get the 3 dungeon cards, which are pretty cool too. You get your lands, and you get one of each, both in foil and non-foil, and you get the alt art treasure chest, which is cool. And you get a die, a red die. That doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a pretty die, but I feel like it's lost in translation. It's not a crazy die. It's just okay. It feels okay. I guess it's like D&D red, I guess. So it's cool. And if you're one of those guys, which nothing against, and you want to make some use of this looks as retro as it looks cool. So nothing against it. So, oops. So if you like that, all power to you. Now, obviously, for a bundle, the cards that you get are all random. So, don't count on the cards. But between the dungeons, the lands, which are very nice lands, I like these lands, and the die, the box is the other thing. And this box is one of the prettiest. To me, it works. It's sober, right? It's like you got scales, you got colors, you get the dragon here. It just works. It gets the point. You look at it, and it's pretty cool. I like the color combination. This looks very retro. It is what it is. So I like it. I think if you like D&D, I think it's very worth it, because, the whole thing smells like D&D. Although it doesn't smell like crazy. Like this die doesn't like scream D&D to me. It's a D20. You can use it, I guess. But the dungeons are cool, and I guess the insert is okay. And the lands are where it's more like D&D-like for you to drool a little bit, because it's lore about different places in the land. But the box is cool, but nothing about it says D&D. It's not. It doesn't look like a box of D&D. It doesn't look like a manual of D&D. It's just good looking, but it doesn't feel like connected. So if you're a D&D fan, I don't know. Let me know if it rings a bell for you, and if it makes you go, "Oh," right? I don't know. As a Magic person, which is more my case, I think it's pretty. So if you can find it, and cool for the basics. So if you can find it for MSRP or the equivalent, and for a price that makes sense for you, not inflated, go for it. I think it's pretty cool. The cards are going to be random though. But hey, That's just a theory. I don't know. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think down below. And let me know what you're thinking of Bundlemania so far. I hope to see you next time as we go back in the past or in the future. I don't know. Depends on what wizard does by the time this video is published. But the next one going backwards is a Strixhaven. So School of Mages, which is actually, by the time of recording this, is technically going to have a set in 2026, unless they change something. So maybe we can talk about that on that set. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all those things I need to say so that the algorithm works. And I hope to see you next time on PAX and Recreation. Bye.